Well, the Nouvelle Vague in general was huge, but I started kind of slow. I was just getting into cinema.
New York Herald Tribune!
And I wandered into a screening of A Bout de Souffle. And the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, it's kind of like when you see a Picasso painting or hear something radical. I was like, it's different. I was like, I liked it, but I didn't quite understand it. But the next time I saw it, like a few months later, that's when I clicked in. And I was watching all the other films.
Merci pour la balade, Jean-Luc.
Melville.
On tourne ça comme une vraie interview.
Bogart. Truffaut.
Bon, je voulais voir si tout se passait bien.
De l'aventure.
Well, isn't that great about art? You think you're the new just by birth, you know, there's a new world, but you realize art is always reinventing itself, and all the art forms is up for something new. The human brain strives for new ways of telling stories, new attitudes. There's always new technologies kind of supporting artists in different ways. So, you know, you always have to be excited about what's new, but you always have to appreciate what was groundbreaking and see it on those terms, you know. I mean, I at Sundance this year, I introduced a film about the Lumiere brothers 130 years ago, the first films, and I talk about new. I was like, yeah, that's new. It's a new medium. You can feel the just pure joy and energy of the Lumiere brothers, those films, what they're shooting, the passion and joy. And then, you know, halfway through cinema history, there's A Bout de Souffle and the Nouvelle Vague. And that's new too, forever a modernist work.
Un joli garçon. Une jolie fille. Paris, 1959. Une salle de sport. Un réalisateur.
Well, everything I knew about Godard, the director, besides the inspiration to make a film from your own cinematic consciousness, I would do very different. Like I tell kids, don't make a film like this. Shouldn't work. You know, that improv, that not having a script, that, you know, that's pretty risky. I don't work that way at all. I'm much more of a writer, script, rehearsal, but I want it to feel spontaneous. I want it to do, but I'm much more, but you know, everybody's brain is...
Un producteur. Une ingénue. Des stars.
This depicts a first film from a completely unique artist who's kind of introducing his own language, basically, to cinema. He's one of the few who had his own language. So truly radical work, but unimitatable. You can't really, and I now know more about this film than anyone could, and I'm more impressed with it. I came away, like we went through archives, we had everything anyone ever said about it, and you know, I had camera reports, I could tell you how many takes they did, I know what they shot on every day. It was crazy to be under, you know, in another film, so I know how much everyone got paid, you know, payroll check, they saved everything. So it was fascinating to do like an archival dive. You know, the camera in our movie that's shooting the movie is the camera that shot A Bout de Souffle. We had you know, it was in an archive and they gave us the camera. When Raoul Coulthard passed away, he still worked, you know, this camouflage. So let's use it, you know, so we've been accused of like fetishism, but I think that's a compliment. It's very much a fetishistic approach to another film. I mean, how better? So film can be pretty specific that way. Well, fortunately, it comes early when in casting. I was starting to cast the actors who looked like them, and I saw them sitting there. I saw the actors who play Godard, Truffaut, and Schiffman, Suzanne Schiffman, Jody, the actor, and they were just talking, and then I had them read the script, and I said, this is gonna work. I believe that that's them. And that's another good thing about if the actors aren't really well-known actors, I'm trying to create a spell where you think you go there to the past. You need a resemblance. I want people who know who all these people are to know we tried. We were trying to get that, but it's really the actor's ability and their personalities. When you say Hollywood, yes, they're very safe. I mean, the studio system is not what it's been in my lifetime. You know, it's changed enormously where they don't take any risks. But that said, there's a whole nother realm of cinema a little more independent, a little more from somewhere else that does take those risks, that is, doing something. So I've kind of lived in that space mostly. But that's worldwide. The filmmakers, everyone's going to try to do something new and something different. And every filmmaker making their first film has to go through the same process of exhilaration and passion and total terror. Hopefully reflect their times and use new technologies or just new ideas. And it's always a new time and place. So cinema, there's something always new. I feel very close to times in the past. Not only in my own life, I have the kind of autobiographical memory. I can go back to any moment in my life and kind of feel it. I can see it and feel it emotionally and, I have that kind of memory. But I can also bring that ability to other times before I was born. I can go back to a place based on every visual reference or every memoir and kind of imagine. That's the magic of cinema. Like, this was before I was born, but based on everything we had. And it was very well documented photos. I just love that feeling of kind of dropping yourself into a real situation from the past. It's cinema, Cinema is, that's the clay of cinema, is this time element that you can play with, whether it's something in real time now or back then. I've always enjoyed that creative aspect, that imaginative aspect of going back, and I don't like period films that are too important. They're acting like the actors are acting in a period film, which is no humor. And I told our actors, like, you're not icons. The guy playing Jean-Paul Belmondo, you're nobody. You're in the boxing gym. You don't care that much. You're not, good art. No one knows who you are. You're a writer trying to make your first, to bring everybody down to a human level. And the story is, like, we might know, what they're doing is important, but they don't know. There's a revolution going on, and maybe one person knows it, So I think that's how it has always felt.
Nouvelle Vague, un film de Richard Linklater, un film de cinéma.